Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to replace the wiper transmission on this 2005 Jetta. Pretty much the same for any 2005 to 2010 Jetta, Golf, and GTI. And often these parts seize up and cause problems. Items you'll need are a new wiper transmission from 1AAuto.com, 13mm socket and ratchet or a wrench, penetrating oil, and a wiper arm removal tool if your arms are a little bit stubborn, a pick or a small flat blade screwdriver, a T30 Torx driver, and a 10mm socket as well. Release your hood on the driver's side, right underneath. Just pull. And then there's a lever up underneath. Pull it up, and then pull your hood up. At the base of your wiper, near the pivot point, there's just a little black cap. Use a pick or a small flat blade screwdriver and pry the cap up, and there's a 13mm nut underneath. And same thing on the passenger side wiper. 13mm socket and ratchet. You might want to hold onto the wiper arm and loosen up the nuts, and then they'll come off pretty easily once you get them loose. To remove the wiper arms, hopefully you can just kind of push down on the base of the wiper, and you'll see my driver's side works free. And I tried the same thing on the passenger side, but unfortunately I can see some corrosion and rust on that side, and it does not come free. So I will try a little bit of penetrating spray and then go back to it. So after attempting to just break it free by hand, I was unsuccessful. So I pull that weather strip back a little bit, which lets me move the cowl panel a little bit. And then that is a wiper arm removal tool. It's just a little clamp with a bolt on top. The bolt drives down onto the stud of the wiper transmission, and then the clamp pulls the wiper arm up and off. And there you can hear it break loose. And I'll pull it a little bit more, and I'll take the tool off and pull the wiper arm up and off. Remove the front weather strip if you haven't already. And then the plastic cowl panel you have to pull down from the windshield first. And then one side or the other, got to release the side, pull it away. And then pull it down and through. Two T30 bolts hold the transmission in. Use a T30 Torx driver and a ratchet and extension to remove those. Disconnect the wiper motor. There's a little tab that you pull back on, and then pull the connection off. And then you need to remove the bracket in the center. There's two 10mm bolts, and remove this bracket. It makes it easier to get the wiper motor and linkage out. There's a pin on the back side of the motor, so you have to pull the motor and transmission kind of towards you. And then you rotate the top of the motor down into the well. It's a little hard to see. But you actually rotate the motor down into the well and bring the transmission kind of up and out, and then it pulls out. Take the wiper transmission and move it so that arm hits the stop, and then a 13mm socket and ratchet, and remove the nut that holds the arm to the motor. And you can see there that that arm is right up against the stop, and that's important because you want to make sure you put it together the same way, and then pull the arm up and off. 3 T30 bolts or screws hold the transmission to the motor. We'll remove those. And as that last one comes out, then that plate comes off and the transmission separates from the motor. Here you can see the original's on top. The new one from 1A Auto is an exact replacement. It has all the bushings, the screws, and everything. It'll bolt right on and fix the issue if you have a broken windshield transmission. Okay, to put the new transmission back on the motor, you can see it has 2 indents at the top and 1 at the bottom. And you'll see that the indents line right up with the mounting holes on the motor. Get it lined up correctly. Then put the plate back on and the 3 screws, 3 T30 screws, and then tighten those up. And once those are tight, we're going to reconnect the arm. So your motor should still be in the same position. So take it, put the arm on to the motor shaft, then push it against the stop, and then put that nut on and tighten it up. And once that nut starts pushing down on the arm, that'll hold it in the same position on the shaft. Okay, so at this point, the shaft and arm are one, so I'm going to turn it to the stop and just tighten it up a little bit more. To reinstall assembly, make sure you have the outer arms just kind of pointing straight up. Feed the motor side down in first, and then once you get to a certain point, pull the arms so they're kind of diagonal, and then work it in the rest of the way. Now reinstall that bracket and tighten up those 2 10mm bolts. And it should install so that the ear where the transmission mounts on is close to where the transmission mount is. And final assembly, there is a peg on the back of the motor up right under the windshield. Make sure that peg goes up in correctly. It's what I'm doing here. It's kind of hard to tell, but once it gets in correctly, then the 2 T30 bolts will line right up and you can tighten everything up. And those T30s are going into rubber bushings, so be careful not to over tighten and ruin those bushings. And then I remove the 2 nuts that are on the new transmission and then plug my lead back in. You'll want to make sure the wipers are in the park position, so close your hood, start up the vehicle, turn your wipers on and off a couple times, make sure they're working, and then make sure they're in the park position. Okay, to put the cowl panel back on, you can see the passenger side still has that side piece on. So I feed the driver's side up in first, then the passenger side. Then I work that side piece on just a little bit. And then I realized that I need to really get the driver's side a lot closer. So I kind of push the driver's side in and get it down and onto the wipers. And then I take that piece that was apart and work it on, snap it into the edge, and work it down into the pillar, and do the same thing on the other side. And once you get the sides all set, make sure you push it up under the windshield. And then I'm going to fast forward here as we just push that rubber seal back in place, and there's a lip that goes up over the plastic to hold it down. Now you want to put the wiper arms back in place. You can use the dust marks that are on the windshield to just kind of line it up in the same place. You basically want to have it about an inch off that cowl panel. Put the passengers in place, and then same thing, the driver's side, you want to have about an inch up off the cowl panel. Now put the 13mm nuts that hold them in place back in place, and then tighten those up. You want to tighten them down gradually, and then you want to tighten them nice and firm, probably about 20 to 25 foot-pounds. The pressure from those nuts holds the wiper arm onto the teeth of the gears of the wiper transmission, so they need to be pretty tight. And then once you have the nuts tightened up, put those plastic caps back on.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope this video helped you out. Next time you need parts for your car, please visit 1aauto.com. Also check out our other helpful how-to as well as diagnosis videos.